Many 3D printed RC bodies looks like a sandy beach, but they don't have to. I'm going to show you how to take this raw PLA shell and give it a finish so smooth that people will think that it's injection molded. We are covering everything, from the secret slicer settings that make a big difference to the final clear coat on this Madbox RC Forerunner. Before you even touch a piece of sandpaper, you win or lose the battle in the slicer. Orientation accounts for most of the success. Look at the hood. When the surface is horizontal, you get stair-stepping. Those distinct ugly circles. You could drop your layer height to 0.05 mm, but that turns a long 10-hour print into even longer marathon. I don't have that kind of patience, and neither do you. Let's get smart. We're going to use the 45-degree rule. By simply rotating the body, we have already improved the surface quality and cut support material by 25%. But we can do better. Switch your support pattern from snug to organic. And, just like that, we have saved 60% of our support material. That's literally 1/10 of a spool you aren't throwing in the trash. One more trick, push the rotation even further, from 45 to 60 degrees. Now we are looking at 73 less support material than the original flat orientation. The print time is optimized, and the layer lines, they have practically vanished into the geometry of the Forerunner. This is the winning configuration for this RC body. But remember, every RC shell is a different beast. Play with these angles for 5 minutes in the slicer to save yourself 5 hours of sanding later. If you print this entire body with these dialed-in settings, it's already going to look awesome, right off the build plate. For a lot of people, that's where the project ends. But we aren't just building a plastic toy, we are building a scale truck. We are going to take this from a great 3D print to a real car. And that means it's time to get our hands dirty. So let's grab our sandpaper. We are starting aggressive, around 200 grit. And a quick warning, leave the Dremel in the drawer. High-speed rotary tools will instantly heat up and melt PLA, ruining hours of printing in seconds. Stick to good old-fashioned hand sanding, sanding blocks, or a specialized low-speed tools. The goal here isn't perfection, it's leveling. You want to sand until your fingertips can no longer feel those ridges. With PLA, you won't trust your hands, not your eyes. Once it's smooth to the touch, we step up to 400 grit. We aren't fighting layer lines anymore. We are erasing the deep scratches we just made with the 200. Keep the paper moving so you don't build up heat and melt plastic. Now for one of the most important steps, the wash. All that microplastic dust is the ultimate enemy of paint. Wash every single part with water and let them fully dry. If you skip this, your primer is going to peel off like a cheap sticker. Before any paint touches the plastic, we need to glue the main shell components together. The paint will apply naturally if the shell is a solid single piece rather than a collection of parts. I'm using a 2-component epoxy glue. It holds firmly because it creates a structural bond. While it might feel ready in 30 minutes, I let it sit for a full 24 hours. Let it cure completely. Once that glue is chemically cured, it's time for the secret weapon – filler primer. It fills in all the micro scratches we left behind with the 400 grit paper and helps the paint stuck better. Start with a light tuck coat, wait a few minutes and follow up with a few medium passes. You want a solid opaque layer with absolutely zero raw plastic peeking through. Now we walk away, give it a full 48 hours to cure. But let me show you a reality check. See these layer lines? That means I didn't sand properly in step 1. This is the most common mistake in 3D print finishing. People think filler primer is a magic eraser that will hide deep defects. As you can see right here, it doesn't. In fact, primer often highlights the spots you missed. Luckily, it's completely fixable. We just grab our 400 grit paper again and knock those lines back. This time we don't stop until that surface is truly 100% smooth to the touch. No shortcuts. Then wash, dry and reapply the filler. When we come back, it's time to wet sand. We are stepping up to 600 grit, and the water is crucial here. It prevents the sandpaper from clogging, stops the plastic from overheating, and gives you a glass-like finish. But watch closely. If you start seeing the raw color of the plastic show through, stop immediately. You have burned through the primer and sent it too far. Once the 600 is done, hit it one more time with 800 and 1000 grit for that ultimate smooth finish. And just like before, the final step of sanding is always the same. Wash the parts to remove the slurry and let them completely dry. Now we can finally paint. But here is a crucial tip that will save your build. Both your ambient room temperature and the paint can itself need to be at least 15 degrees Celsius. If you think you can cheat this in a cold garage, let me show you my exact fail. The paint was completely rinsed and peeled off, looking like an old mosaic. Honestly, it's a great trick if you are going for a retro look, but it's a nightmare for a clean build. Luckily, it's an easy fix. Wet sanding again. Lightly knock down the uneven surface. You don't need to remove all the paint. It might look terrible to the eye, but all that matters is that it feels perfectly smooth to the touch. Wash it, dry it for a day, and try again. This time, with the garage properly heated, the results are awesome. If you still see the primer shadow under your first coat, don't panic. Just build the paint up, layer by layer, until the color is solid and patch-free. Read the back of your specific can for the flash times between coats. Once the color is locked in, apply a clear coat. This is the layer that helps protect the Forerunner from future scratches. Let it dry for at least 48 hours before you even think about touching it. The final boss of this build is polishing. Grab a detailing kit and start with the slightly more abrasive orange pad and a few drops of compound. Gently work the surface. Then switch to the blue pad and finish with an ultra soft white pad to bring out the depth. Stop when it shines like a mirror. Next, glue on the final details: grills, mirrors, and door handles. Last but not least, polish the assembled shell if needed. The RC car looks unbelievable. It seriously catches the light like a real car. But here is the brutal truth. I would think twice before I do this again. The amount of effort it takes to sand, prime, paint, wet sand and polish is massive. My garage smelled like a body shop for an entire week. And the worst part, this beautiful shell is going to get scratched the very first time it rolls over the track. If you are building a shelf queen, a highly detailed crawler or a showpiece, this process is 100% worth it. But for a heavy basher, it might just be too much. Ultimately, it's up to you. Ask any questions, I'm happy to help. Cheers!